Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 2 of After Dark with the 256 Boys. We have consistently actually given a name to this show now. It is officially After Dark with the 256 Boys. You'll probably notice in the intro of the first episode that we gave the wrong name. I don't give a fuck. What about you?
Yeah, I don't really give a fuck neither. I mean, I've thought about it, and I really sat down and thought about it. I even got my cats to think about it with me, and we both just couldn't give a fuck either way.
But all that aside,
the cat that attacked our audience last episode, if you remember correctly.
Yeah.
I've tamed him. His name is Venerius, and he is a great cat.
All right. So, in case you forgot, I am your host with the most, Graveyard J, here with
Lil Demonculus. That's LILD something other.
Yep, that's us, the motherfucking 256 Boys. Welcome to episode 2. This is a freeform episode. The first episode, we just kind of picked a topic, talked about Final Fantasy for a little bit. Right now, we're just going to shoot some shit, you know?
Because we always fucking do, I guess.
Yeah. It's, you're, pretty much, if you know us in life, this is just us being us. And that's why we decided to make this. But, yeah. I mean, here we are. Episode 2. We've come so long.
It's weird that we actually got around to doing this because I always said I wanted to do something like this. And my husband, shout out to him, he bought me a microphone, and it's wonderful. And this is the one we're talking through now. Power of fucking technology, if you can believe it. But it's funny because my brother, he works in a cell phone store, and I just wonder if one of these days he can give my phone the ability to speak English to me, to be sentient, so I can have a friend that's not a total dumbass like you, bro.
I hope it never goes that far, because if cell phones have sentience, then I'm not working at Solaris anymore.
Are you going to own a phone anymore if they get sentient?
No.
It's just going to own you, man.
No, If that happens, I'm going full Shia LaBeouf out in the middle. Of
which one? Which Shia LaBeouf? I don't know which one. What?
That's... The people back home will know. It's too deep. We'll get into that later on.
I'll look up Shia LaBeouf's filmography and see how deep it is.
It has nothing to do with films, friend. It has to do with real life.
Oh.
Yeah.
We wish you well, Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah. You're a cool dude. I fuck with you, bro.
Yeah. Shia LaBeouf is a really cool guy. And let me rephrase that. He was a cool guy in the movies. I don't know him personally, so I'm not going to lay that down. But I really enjoyed him growing up because he was in Transformers. And shout out to my boy Kenji. I know you don't like Michael Bay Transformers movies because you're a purist on Transformers stuff, but I grew up with them. They're big action-y movies, and people say, I don't remember. It's been so long. It's like hating on Nickelback. It's kind of grown out of favor.
I'm Graveyard J, and if you do not like Michael Bay Transformers movies, then fuck you.
If you don't like the first two, if you don't like the first two, I will concede on that. I will admit they get a little kooky and goofy towards the end when they start bringing wizards and dinosaurs and Mark Wahlberg into the mix.
No, I don't care. They're great.
Okay, but
you add Marky Mark in the mix, and there you go.
Will you concede that Shia LaBeouf was a better main character than Mark Wahlberg? Absolutely,
but you concede there's always a super hot female co-lead.
Who was in it towards the end? I
forget. I always just remember Megan Fox, but it's what it is.
No, hey, wait a minute. She was in a couple of them. She wasn't just in the Shia LaBeouf ones, was she?
No, she was just in the first two.
What? Oh,
because the last Shia LaBeouf one that he was in, it had some different chick.
I need to watch those movies again. There's a new one coming out, and it's animated. And I haven't seen the trailer for it, but I'm kind of glad that these franchises are getting animated movies to the movies or cinema or fucking streaming, whatever it is. Hey, can I go on an old head moment for a minute?
Of course.
It used to be big shit when animated movies that weren't Disney or any of the big companies got any time of day at the movie theater. See, streaming is kind of a cheat code for getting your shit out there, but not committing to the level of marketing a movie out there with the posters and the commercials and all that shit. So seeing something like that, I will give my first one. The SpongeBob SquarePants movie actually being in theaters was a wild fucking thing. and how big it was.
Well, you got to imagine it's going to be in theaters because
I saw it in theaters twice.
Even back in the 90s, that's a spectacle of a cartoon. Like, that's...
Nothing was made like that.
No, it's still...
It's made for everybody.
That's a piece of pop culture that will stand forever. That's going to be one of the things that's remembered, like Flintstones and the Jeffersons. You know, that's going to be running on Boomerang one day. You know that?
You mean the Jetsons? Jeffersons were were Archie Bunker's neighbors.
The Jetsons.
Yeah.
Sorry,
not Archie.
I'm inebriated.
Yeah. Also, you're forgetting your 70s sitcoms there, brother.
Welcome to After Hours.
Welcome to After Hours. Speaking of 70s sitcoms, let me go ahead and get my little rant out of the way.
It's very little. Speaking of After Hours, we forgot to introduce the live studio audience.
Hold on, I know. Shut up, guys. All right, look, you don't feed the animals like that.
Also another thing. Before we get into the rest of the podcast, we have some sad news. Our beloved security guard Tommy Buckle has passed away. He was trying to wrangle up his kids last night, and he was trying to wrangle up his 10 children last night on the block, and little Marquez, you know, he thought he was the police, and he pulled out a 35, and you know, Tommy Bunkle just dropped like a rock, man. Rest in peace to Tommy Bunkle, man. You were the best security guard anyone could ever ask for.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, and you're right. Tom McBunkle was a great man. All his 10 kids, sadly, were taken to the factory and turned into glue. Rest in peace to them as well. They will make great paste for the children of America.
Or great paste for Pedro down the road to sniff in the back alley.
Pedro, do you make sure to give him pizza slices?
All I had today was a bagel. He wasn't too happy about it.
All you had today was a bagel? What the fuck time is it? It's only 8:30. You have time to eat. Okay,
it suffice. No, Pedro. All I had today was to give. I didn't have any pizza slices for Pedro, so I gave him a bagel. And he wasn't too happy about it. But
how many times do you only stab you once this time?
No, he just kind of cut me a little bit on the wrist with a rusty knife and said, you know, hey, hope you don't get lockjaw. But
did you get your tetanus shot?
No, I just insurance, man. It's expensive.
It is. Shout out to Canada with their what do you call it? Free healthcare. Yeah, let me get some of that free tetanus shot for my brother. We need it. Call 555-256 HELP. All right. This is now a telethon. We've turned it into it. My poor brother. He can't talk because his jaw is locked. Yeah, that's all he can really say anymore. Yeah. Hey, Graveyard, are you gay? Does your mom know you're gay, Graveyard? I guess that one really doesn't work if you can't say much. But seriously, man, I was gonna say about 70s sitcoms. I'll make this brief because this is a freeform thing and I don't want to hog it, but it's been on my mind. It's the Good Times reboot. I remember the Angry Video Game Nerd when the Ghostbusters came out in 2016. He did a non-review and he just refused. People got mad at that. And people were like, how dare you? And now it's like, yeah, I'm going to do the same thing. I know it has nothing to do with the original Good Times. And even if it didn't, it was different people, would be cool. But the problem is that it's just not, it just has nothing to do with it. The only similarity they have, from what I read and from what I see, is that they pay rent.
You know, I don't know a lot about the remake. I will say this, though, that it definitely doesn't look like something that you would relate to Good Times. It looks more like a Bebe's Kid remake. Wow. That's what it looks like. That's the animation. If you were to call it that, I'd say, yeah, that's exactly what that is.
And if you know what that is, then come get your AARP check early, brother, man. You really need to collect that old man's insurance.
That's some truth right there.
Mm-hmm. And if you will excuse that rattling sound, the ghost of the cat that attacked our studio audience last week has come back, and he is just, oh no, God, security. Did you hire a new security guy?
No.
Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, if you'll ignore the massive mauling that's going on in the background, it is quite humorous in all honesty. But anyway, escort that man out of there. Audience members who we paid to be plants, excuse him out of the way.
I will say at least the cat is a ghost now. Our beloved, now dead security guard, Thomas McBunkle, he completely eviscerated it. He raised one of his eyebrows so hard that it just completely disintegrated into thin air. Just a complete Thanos style. Just snap, turn to dust, I don't want to go Mr. Stark like that. Just like that.
It just looked at the security guard as it was fading away, and it went, "Meow." And it faded away. It died.
Yeah. Thomas McBunkle actually holds all 5 of the Infinity Stones.
All 5 of the Infinity Stones?
Yeah, he actually holds all 5. In fact, he has the other 2 that you don't even know about. Marvel never even talks about.
What were they?
He has them. I don't even know, man. He won't talk about it.
It was the Weed Stone and the Beer Stone, was it not?
That's what it's rumored to be, but he won't speak about it.
It's rumored?
He says it's just unspoken power.
Is the other one a carbon fiber Glock with a switch on it, stone?
Carbon fiber, that sounds dangerous. Sounds like it'll blow up in your hand.
You know what else blows up in my hand? M80s. And I hold them for too long.
Yeah, I think that blows up in everyone's hand.
Yeah. Oh, then you don't have any hands to blow up anymore, You just, it's like that. I don't know if you're awake when we're watching.
It's like an Iraqi kid.
Jesus Christ. I was thinking more like that fucking, we were watching, if you all seen Saw 10, when the dude wakes up and his hands are all taped up and he's got like saw blades attached to his stumpy taped up hands. I mean, they're not stumps yet, but watch Saw 10. It's really good. I like it.
If those aren't stumps, what do you call it, Sanders? Those are stumps.
Well, they're pseudo stumps.
Pseudo stumps.
What do you call? What do you call? Okay, smart ass. What do you call it?
Fucking pseudo stump.
Well, yeah. Look, I'm going by.
This is after hours, ladies and gentlemen.
This is after hours. But I was going more by the way of, and this is about to get some deep cut shit. Dragon Ball fans out there, heyo, shout yourselves out. Yeah, fuck you. I like Dragon Ball. You probably all like One Piece, and you don't want to hear about what I have to say about One Piece. Anyway, it's that movie, Lord Slug, when he doesn't really go Super Saiyan, they call it Pseudo Saiyan because his hair doesn't turn a different color. But that it was made before American audiences knew that he was going to go Super Saiyan, so they had to have him do something that was really weird but not Super Saiyan. Have you seen Lord Slug?
Yeah, and I think it's honestly a weak movie. I like.
It's not the weakest.
It's not the weakest, but Tree of Might's way better.
I guess if we were to go by ones that are back to back, yeah, I guess I do like Tree of Might better, but
I feel like Lord Slug is a pointless and just fucking boring ass villain, honestly.
It's a pointless movie except when Finger 11 is playing in the beginning. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, but that's not the point. Old Dragon Ball had cool music like that. I mean, Pantera was in the Broly movie.
Yeah.
Tens starts playing. And if you're a Pantera fan, if you know a little Pantera, then you probably know Walk, Cowboys from Hell, but you're a real Pantera if you know about Tens.
Yeah. Okay. Let me ask you this. If you want to go real Pantera fans, well, deep cut Pantera song that you think is really good, people should know about.
Over and Out.
Which one's that on?
That's what is that? It's one of their hair metal albums.
Okay. I like that. That's cool.
I don't remember the name of the album. I just know when
something
I heard
more
that,
accessible.
It's so dirty and just the riff, man.
That's probably from Power Metal. That's the only.
It is from Power Metal. Yeah, that's it.
Album.
Yeah, the song Over and Out from Power Metal.
Over and Out. I'll have to listen to that
Phil, on the front of the cover has this long crazy hair. It looks like an extra member of the Culture Club. It's great.
Culture Club.
He's hitting me straight Judas Priest notes, bro. It's ridiculous.
And
it's awesome.
Let's actually segue into that. I think he's still one of the most underrated vocalists out there. I think underrated for his cleans. Now, I don't know about his cleans now. I really don't. I don't even listen to his new stuff because he makes weird music now. Look, I love Pantera. I love Down. That's one thing we
disagree.
That's one more thing we do disagree on.
I love Pantera, but down is just, man, not my thing.
But the thing
down
is,
gets me down.
Look, let me add another thing. Super Joint Ritual. I like them enough. Phil does a great job with their vocals, but Jesus Christ, everything's either this weird black metal shit or this weird crust punk shit that's just him hollering and snarling into a microphone while someone goes, and the guitars go like the stupid ass black metal songs.
You know, I know this is flipping the script a little bit, but we are talking about metal, so I'm going to bring up a band. And I know you don't really listen to this band a lot. I think they're a great band. I haven't heard from them in a minute. And I need to try to look into it and see what's going on. Because what the fuck happened to Gojira? Where are they at?
Do you think maybe their hype died down?
I don't know. I mean, I don't feel like that's a thing that's part of the metal community so much.
I don't.
What would you say about that?
No, not anymore because it's not. Excuse me. It's not. It's not mainstream anymore. Back when it was mainstream, you had big things like that, but now it's not really so much ruled by what's popular. It's kind of ruled by what's good. You would hope.
Yeah.
You would hope.
I mean, I feel like metal has been that way probably since earlier 2000s because it started being that way when you had bands coming in like Seven Dust, Slipknot, Breaking Benjamin, Korn, and then it started slowly tapering off from that. It became something that was a little bit different.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's a good thing for metal because I feel like that's the way you should judge music like that is by how good it is.
Yeah.
Because if you're from the outside, you're going to listen to it and be like, oh, it's just screaming. But if you sit there and try to actually listen and you try to put in some time to understand the musicianship, listen to the poetry or some of the lyrics that are written and stuff like this, you'd probably understand a little better.
Yeah. I mean, and even if you can't understand the vocals, sometimes it takes people a minute to get into that mood of vocals not being words, but music instead.
I mean, I know when I got into metal back in middle school, I wasn't into that stuff yet.
Like Black Dahlia Murder, their vocals are not really meant to be understood that well, but the way it plays into the music as music itself is great.
I remember at a time when I was in middle school when I was delving into harder music.
Me too.
Breaking Benjamin was one of those bands. That was one of my gateway bands. And at the time, it was hard for me to listen to stuff that I would hear, and I would hear really deep guttural and, nasty stuff. I didn't like it. And then over time, just being a metalhead, I just started seeking more and more. And I started delving into things. Slipknot started getting me into the more harder stuff. But then I started finding stuff like Death. I started finding Black Dahlia Murder.
Yes.
I started finding stuff like just so much dirty, nasty filth. And it changed. It changed me. Gojira was one of those bands. Korn, in a way. I guess you can say in a way.
Korn's heavy, but I don't know if I'd say if they're like really heavy in the metal sense.
When I really got into Lamb of God, dude.
Wait, the thing is that you and I got into Lamb of God about the same time.
About the same time. You were a little bit more into them at the time. We were in middle school, and you gave me, when I got my car, when I got my first car, you gave, because which you still have. I was a CD head.
Which you still have.
I still have, and the CD that you gave me.
Yeah.
You gave me Resolution, which is a later Lamb of God album, but I feel like, even though I wouldn't say it's one of their best ones, I feel like it's arguably probably one of their dirtiest, just straight up nasty albums. And that right there, I used to get comments from people back in high school because I would pull up listening to that album and people in school would be like, dude, what the fuck were you listening to out there? What is that shit? Because they're in there listening to all their pop music, popular country and stuff. And then I pull up and you just hear the dirtiest riffs you've ever heard in your life. It's giving people aneurysms,
Aneurysms. Like, that's one thing I like about Lamb of God is that it is pretty dirty, but you can hear and understand Randy. Sans the first album, which I like, because the thing is that back when you were getting into Seven Dust, Breaking Benjamin, and all that, I was getting into black metal and death metal.
Yeah.
Like, I was into, if you don't mind if I take over and tell my high school music stuff, I was into, what were you going to say?
Yeah, before you get into that, none of them are going to think you're basic for stating Black Sabbath is one of the reasons. because if there's one thing about metalheads, they're respectful about history.
Black Sabbath.
And we wouldn't fucking have
Metal.
heavy metal if it wasn't for Ozzy and Black Sabbath.
And Jimi Hendrix.
Jimi Hendrix in a way, because I feel like Jimi Hendrix might have opened up some of the more subgenres of metal.
His shit is dirty and heavy.
But if we're talking about straight up heavy metal, I mean, Ozzy was the type of shit and Black Sabbath was the type of stuff back then so you would hear and probably give your grandmother a heart attack.
Funny story on that later. She didn't have a heart attack, just it was Ozzy Osbourne. Anyway, 3 metal bands. Black Sabbath, and my favorite album that I dove into a lot at the time was their album Ozzy Was Gone. Dio was gone. The guy who did from Deep Purple who did their album was gone. And then the other guy was gone. So they were to their 4th singer at the time. No, their 5th singer. His name was Tony Martin. He recorded 4 albums for them, and they're overlooked. They're not all great. I would say that his last album that he did with them is pretty bad. Produced by Ice-T. Weird. No, not produced by Ice-T. The guitarist of Body Count is produced by him. Still weird. But look up The Shining. If you've never heard it, it's a great song. It's not about The Shining, the movie, weirdly enough. But the second band I want to shout out is a one-man band, one of the best one-man bands, Bathory. I love Bathory. They've spanned so many genres. He spans so many genres. And rest in peace. He's been dead for a minute. But his first album, was so raw, and it got in touch with my angst really hard when I was in high school, middle school. I think every metalhead can relate to that, is that it gets in touch with your angst. One thing gets in touch with it, and you relate to it enough to dig into it more and more and like it. Now, the third one is Mayhem. And that's another black metal band. I like them a lot because, and you're kind of seeing a pattern here, is bands with different singers I like because it's like a variety pack of fucking chocolates. You know, it's all the same good stuff, but it's different every time. But with Mayhem, you've got these, fuck all the controversy behind them and all that bullshit, that they're this and that and the other. I really tend to like that. I'm sorry, I blanked for a minute because the power kind of blinked, but it didn't affect our recording. Thank God we are recording in a crack den in Weewall, Florida right now, ladies and gentlemen. We will give our location. If you use sonar, it will ping us there. Please help.
Yeah.
My cohort is blinking torture right now in Morse code. But yeah, Mayhem. I just like their variety of singers because they're all very different in different ways. Now, their new stuff, haven't listened to it. I'm not the biggest fan of their new singer stuff now because he just kind of sounds a little strange. Real muted. His garbled is the way I would say it. But anyway, I've hogged it. What about you? What 3 bands got you into metal?
3 bands that got me into metal. Okay, so
that made you like it more, got you into it.
So before, I've already mentioned this band.
What were you into before you got into metal? If you can remember that far back.
I'm not going to get into the personal shit. I really can't remember stuff like that. But as far as getting into metal, people can argue maybe this isn't metal, but it was definitely heavy. It's still kind of heavy.
All right.
Breaking Benjamin, I've already mentioned them, was probably one of the first bands that really got me into metal.
New metal, kind of, I guess.
I was listening to a lot of the hard rock bands back then. I was listening to Seven Dust, stuff like that. Shinedown. And Seven Dust I can put in the new metal category. Shinedown not as much.
Rest in peace, Shinedown now, Jesus.
Yeah, man. What a fucking tragedy. They were my first concert, by the way. By the way, that was my first concert with Breaking Benjamin and Seven Dust. They were all in the same concert.
Yeah, now Shinedown sounds like Imagine Dragons, and it's weird.
I'm going to say this, too. Seven Dust opened that concert, and I feel bad for Breaking Benjamin and Shinedown having to go after them, because for being an opening act, they fucking threw down. Like, I was fucking lit. That was a hell of a concert. But to get back on topic, Breaking Benjamin was one of the first bands that really got me into that metal stuff.
Yeah.
Now, after that, you'll probably make fun of me a little bit for this.
Okay, look, I'll swear I won't. I won't even crack a smile. You look at me and say it.
All right. Back in middle school, when I started listening to Breaking Benjamin, I started getting into more metalcore.
Okay.
Mind you, I was not into good metalcore. You know, Kill Switch Engage, Avenged Sevenfold.
I got 2 answers you give you that made me laugh.
It might make you laugh, like cry laugh.
Let me hear it. Okay, I have to prepare myself. I'm already smiling. Shit.
I had a huge crush on this girl in middle school, and she was a big fan of Sleeping with Sirens.
Okay.
I don't like them anymore.
All right.
But I wanted so bad to get this girl's attention, and it ended up that me being an angsty middle schooler, I actually kind of like some of these songs.
Okay, tit for tat. Shortly. Motionless and White. Yeah, I know.
It's not as laughable as mine. Motionless with White is a little bit more respectable in my opinion.
Really?
Yes. This is going to be my third pick, and it might be a basic fucking pick.
No, go for it. You said mine wasn't basic.
But it's absolutely what, to me, when I started getting later in middle school. Now, mind you, I'd been hearing this band many, many times within my life. Early, my father's a huge fan of this band. I heard a lot of their music, and on the radio, they still play them a lot. A huge band, especially as far as metal is concerned, because you can call this band a true metal band. When I was in about 7th, 8th grade, I started listening to a lot of Metallica. And about there's where it hits history.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
from Metallica. From Metallica became me not only getting interested in music, but the history of music. From there, I found out about Dave Mustaine being the first guitarist, which made me delve into Megadeth. Now, mind you, I'm a bigger Megadeth fan than I am Metallica nowadays. I'll tell anyone all the time that Megadeth is way better than Metallica, even though I love Metallica. Megadeth just one-ups them in every fucking aspect, especially new albums.
Yes.
As far as new music goes, even though Metallica might drop some bangers sometimes, I did like Hardwired to Self-Destruct. I don't care for their new album. When Megadeth drops something, even when it's pretty new nowadays, it seems to be pretty solid. It's good.
You know why it's solid? Because they rotate musicians sometimes. Yeah. They don't have the same dinosaurs on there. Yes, I know they have a new bassist. But look here, man. You've got Lars, Kirk, and goddamn James, who, Lars, everyone already knows he's the goddamn Ringo Starr of the group. Ironically, but
it's sad too because he used to be a wonderful drummer, and now he's just lost it.
Kirk is losing it too.
I mean, on Injustice, I feel like listening to Lars on Injustice, he is just so locked in. I love the drumming on one.
It's so technical.
The drumming on one is so technical in a such simple sounding way, but that's not exactly an easy song to drum, and that comes into musicianship. We don't have to get into all that, but at the end of the day, that's the truth of it. Now, damn, I was thinking of something. I kind of forgot about it.
While you think about it, let me see. Better album, Megadeth's best album or Metallica's best album, in your opinion?
Megadeth.
That being? What's their best album?
Tornado of Souls, whatever.
Album.
Album Tornado of Souls is on.
Rest in peace.
I should remember that, but I'm inebriated.
Okay, but what's Metallica's best one?
Metallica's best album? Well, to me, it's Injustice.
So, are you... Okay.
I love Injustice.
Okay, we're gonna have
I'm a slut for that.
We're gonna have a debate here, man. Because I love both those albums too, but as a whole, and as just for how good it is, and lightning in a bottle, I'll say that. Injustice for All is total lightning in a bottle.
It is.
They never got better. They could never. They peaked. Everyone says, "Oh man, they peaked on Master of Puppets." Okay, no. I won't get mad at you for thinking that, but personally, if I were to go with a pick that's not Injustice, I would say they peaked at Ride the Lightning thrash-wise. If you're talking about pure technical metal, they peaked at Injustice.
Ride the Lightning is one of those albums that, I love Master of Puppets, and I can listen to it all the way through, but Ride the Lightning is such a thrash experience. Like, if you're a fan of thrash metal, there is not a single thrash metal fan on earth that's going to deny that Ride the Lightning is definitely in top 3 thrash metals, and to me, it could easily be number 1, possibly.
Is there a bad song on that album?
No, not at all.
I agree.
In fact, I think it's Metallica's best intro, too.
That one being? What is it? Trapped Under Ice?
Fire with Fire.
Fight Fire with Fire. Trapped Under Ice is still on that album.
Trapped Under Ice, I don't remember the track on it, but it is on that album, yeah.
But, okay, well, Metallica, let me tell you my experience with Metallica, if you don't mind. I got into them. I was at this. I was at this summer thing for kids, but it was like you go away to a different state. It was an Ole Miss. It was like a film study camp. Glad I got the opportunity to do that. Shout out Ole Miss, beautiful fucking campus. If you're at a frat house in Ole Miss and you're about to crack one open for your boys, Graveyard J and Lil Democulus. Anyway, what I had with me is that like I had no way to listen to music, and I was tweaking out. I really wanted to listen to some music. So what I did, and it was like I had my own room, right? So like they let you sleep in your own room. I got the cheapest CD player that Walmart had at the time. And mind you, I was like 11, I think I was 12 or 11 at the time. And then I got And Justice for All. And I got, I got And Justice for All, and I got Kill 'Em All. And that's what got me into it. I think it was the raw thrash of Kill 'Em All and the technical thrash of And Justice for All. That is the name of their first album, right? I'm not tweaking on here.
Kill 'Em All.
Kill 'Em All, yeah. And I remember listening to it and listening to one over and over and over again. Those drums, this fucking, the just on point. It's precision. That's what's great about that album. But what's good about Kill 'Em All is
Bards was best when he had a mullet.
Yes, but what's cool about Kill 'Em All is
like
you
Mark
can,
Knopfler.
Yes, I do love Dire Straits. But it's their first album feels, you see all the prospect and the promise in it, but with the raw attitude of it. Now, debut for debut, I'd say Kill 'Em All is better than Killing Is My Business. It's a great album. Killing Is My Business is a great album, but it's, you know what? I'm actually sitting here thinking about it. Maybe they might be equal because I was about to say Kill 'Em All doesn't have mechanics, but then again, I guess you could say in a weird, different way, I suppose.
Now, just to switch back to Megadeth real fast, can we just, and I know maybe you can't answer this because I know you don't always focus on the guitar, you focus on all music. Me being a guitarist, I am really biased toward the guitar.
No, let me hear it.
The best guitar player, or at least lead guitar player, because the only rhythm guitar player they ever had was Dave. Being him, the rhythm and the lead singer. But best lead guitar player they ever have was definitely Marty Friedman. Yeah, it was absolutely.
Yep.
He made the most iconic shit. Tornado of Solos. Wow, I just said that. Tornado of Solos.
Isn't it though?
Is the best solo.
It's a tornado of solos.
Ever in a metal song. Ever. Of any band. I don't care.
Really?
What anyone says.
Better than Floods.
Better than Floods. I love Dimebag. Dimebag is my favorite guitar player ever. But Tornado of Souls, man. Just the shit he whips out. You don't expect it. It's just different level of guitar mastery. Marty Friedman is the man. No one touches that.
Is he the best guitar player ever?
No.
Who would that be? In your opinion? Is it Dime?
Even though Diamond's my favorite, the best guitar player ever is Jimmy. And I don't say that necessarily because of technicality, because of course he's a technical guitar player, but he is easily the most influential guitar player of all time. When you look at any modern guitar player, all the way up from the 70s to now, any of them, speaking of any of their influences, no matter who they are, they're always going to recite Jimmy. Music would not be, especially guitar playing, would not be what it is without Jimmy. We wouldn't have Stevie Ray Vaughan without Jimmy.
No. I really do like Jimi Hendrix. And he's really important. But I hate to go back to it because we just fucking love these bands so much. Let's go back to Metallica and Megadeth. So I think we both do. I forget what our stance is on it. I like Mechanics more than I do the Four Horsemen, and I like it. The lyrics are goofy, or straight goofy caca on Mechanics, but it's faster, and you just are like, wow, Marty Friedman can play the goddamn dick off a guitar. You know? Like that's what it tells. That's what it tells me. Four Horsemen's a great song, and it's more well written, and it's like, wow, whoever wrote it is writing good lyrics about it. Oh wait, Dave Mustaine wrote that.
To me, the thing about Marty that makes him shine especially among the big four, is when you hear thrash songs, you hear these solos a lot of the time. They're just you know, and I can understand how it is because a lot of the time the rhythm guitar that's backing you up during a solo, a lot of the times that's all you can think of in your mind. It's just playing this chaotic, and it fits with Slayer, it fits with Metallica. But Marty is just so musically smart. It's not even just that he's a great guitar player. He's one of these people. I mean, he was in Cacophony with Jason fucking Becker. If you know anything about guitar playing, you understand this is different level.
Okay, well I don't. So I mean I do, but I don't know who Cacophony is.
Cacophony was a band. It was an instrumental band with Jason Becker and Marty Friedman.
Who's Jason Becker?
Jason Becker is a guy that has ALS now. He's dead now. Rest in peace, Jason Becker. Jason Becker for a long time had ALS, but Jason Becker was one of these dudes that's counted on in terms of like Sean Lane, Yngwie Malmsteen, Joe Satriani, Steve Vai. He's one of these dudes that was a virtuosic guitar player on a different level. And even in the fact that he was in this band, this instrumental band with Marty, Jason was still considered the lead guitar player. Marty would pull out some crazy shit in Cacophony, but Jason would one-up him every time. And it wasn't even him trying to, it's just the fact that he's such a musical legend, just had this crazy ear for music, was a ridiculous guitar player. Just crazy. Since you haven't heard Cacophony, if you like instrumental music at all, you need to really delve into them. Because Marty Friedman and Jason. You said
Jason Newsted. That motherfucker already got tormented by Metallica.
Jason
already.
Becker.
They probably called him Jason Newsted. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
You're not Cliff, you're gay. That's literally Metallica's.
Whoa. Ladies and gentlemen, whoa, look at this. What is this? It happens. We have a special guest star here.
Who's our special guest?
Our special guest here today.
There's no special guest in
the what? One and only Boraz Sagadiov, ladies and gentlemen. Hello at 256, boys. I'm a very excited.
Borat. Anyway.
I'm a very excited.
I'm sure you are.
I live with Brother Below, a frozen pizza in his cage. Where I live, I did not to cook it.
Your brother, what is he, like 16?
Brother Below, 73.
He's 73.
Brother Below is 73.
How old are you?
I don't remember.
I'm sure you don't. Okay,
I lost in my documents a long time ago in Kazakhstan.
Borat, Sandivet, let me ask you something. Who's your favorite Big Four thrash band?
My favorite, the Big Four thrash band, is Kazakhstani Punani. Favorite thrash band ever.
Oh yeah. Excuse me, Borat. I think I'm catching a bit of your weird ass accent. My favorite band of the Big Four, we don't know what the Kazakhstani Big Four here is. Borat, dumbass. And Borat, I'm turning the tables on you. This is my heel turn, guys.
Borat, you're really lucky that Thomas McBungle isn't here because he's very, very racist against your kind. I'm just to be honest.
Yeah, you know what? Oh, Jesus. Thomas. You've just beamed up. We haven't seen you since yesterday.
Ladies and gentlemen, Thomas McBungle is here right now in the flesh. He is resurrected. He has just informed me that he went to the Pet Cemetery graveyard and buried himself as a ghost.
Does that negate?
To come back.
Is he fucked up? Because his eyes looking a little screwed up now.
You know his eyes always looked a little screwed up there.
Yeah, he did.
I'm very scared. Thomas, get Boras out of here.
Boras. Yeah, let's taunt him. Hey, Borat, you're gay. I'm
gay. Very sad.
You're gay. Take him to the dungeon.
I'll leave now.
All right. Jesus Christ, who was that guy?
Welcome back.
He was your guest.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I'm really sorry. I did invite him. it was a really easy, I guess, slight celebrity to invite because all he asked for was a cucumber and a handful of granola as payment. And so, we can provide that here at the 256 Boys After Hours.
Yeah.
But,
he'll give us a pop in the ratings. Anyway, back to what we were saying. I will go ahead and make you cringe a little bit. And I will bring up something that you pointing it out to me. You haven't ruined my fun with it. You just pointed it out to me that, wow, maybe these solos are kind of booty. And the more I listen to it, I get it, and they grate on my nerves. And I used to like them, and that is Slayer, ladies and gentlemen, Slayer.
Well, you can mention Slayer, but I'm just going to say this, just off the bat. I love Metallica. I'm not going to hate on Metallica. But
Metallica fanboy's going to be mad here.
When I started playing guitar for real, when I became a more intermediate player, and I wasn't a beginner anymore, I wasn't more advanced, but I was more intermediate, it was soon to me to realize that James Hetfield was much of a better guitar player than Kirk Hammett was. And it's not just the rhythm parts that you can hear in the recording that are better because of James. The very rare times that James does have a solo, it's memorable. The very melodic solo that's in Master of Puppets when the music starts getting slower and slows down, that's James playing. That's not Kirk. Yeah. And when it starts picking up again and the widdly 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 starts going, that's Kirk. And it's a great solo. It's cool. It fits with the song.
It's widdly widdly widdly.
But I feel like the first solo, the melodic solo, is much better. And that's James. So many people that don't know about the music aspect would never realize that. That's not Kirk hitting those notes, those bends, those emotional bends. When Kirk bends a note, it sounds like a fucking mosquito. I'm sorry. It's just what it is. James can bend a note and give it some soul to it. Kirk bends a note and his fingers don't pick it up like that. That's purely what it is. Okay. There's this weird part about guitarists that if you know when you play, you understand a lot of their tone is in their fingers, and you can't recreate certain things.
What do most people think it's in instead?
Well, just from the outside, I guess you could think of what guitar you play or stuff like that.
What strings you use, because as a saxophonist, your reed. I played saxophone in high school. Your reed matters a lot.
See, that's the thing with wind instruments.
Drum sure does too.
If you can just blow the same as another person, you can make it the same sound. But that's not the same with guitar, because your fingers are never going to be exactly the same. When you touch a guitar and you make a note sound, not only is the note coming through the guitar, it's vibrating through your body. That makes the sound come out and come through.
That's why people have guitar fingers,
That's why certain people sound different. Even if I had every single piece of gear that James Hetfield had, that Dimebag Darrell had, that Stevie Ray Vaughan had, Jimi Hendrix fucking had, and I played their songs, it would never, ever, ever sound exactly like them, just for the fact that I don't have their fingers. And that's purely it. You could try to play Floods all you want with the same gear Dime had, but unless you have his exact fingers, it's never going to be the same.
Okay. Yeah, no, I get that when you explain it. But, with Slayer, I really do think, let me rephrase. It's weird how a lot of bands lose restraint as they get older. Or they get too much restraint. With Slayer, they just lost their fucking mind when they went on. And it didn't take long. It really, really didn't. Show No Mercy and Hell Waits, I contend are pretty good albums. I like them a lot. Hell Waits, I think, is a great fucking listen. Rain and Blood is good. It's really good. I like it. But you have to understand that there are 2 albums that come after that are fucking great. I don't know what it is, but it's like for every band's 4th album, every band, we already just had Metallica and Slayer, their 4th, and I'll throw in Slayer's 5th album, South of Heaven and Seasons in the Abyss are great albums. They sound great, they are great, But the thing is that one notorious thing that you cannot shake when you hear it is like, this Kerry King guy really, really isn't doing what everyone else is doing. And you think that when you're an entry-level metal fan, but then you go more and more and you're like, oh, he's doing the death metal solo thing. Oh, he's doing the Florida death metal scene. Like I'm talking Deicide. I'm talking Carcass. That's not, excuse me, not Carcass. I mean Bolt Thrower. I'm talking about Bolt Thrower. I'm talking about Cannibal Corpse. I'm talking about especially early Cannibal Corpse. Just bands that go for those wild ass solos that are just, my brother calls them bullshit solos. I do not play guitar, so I can't speak on that, but I will say that it kind of sounds like that sometimes.
Slayer's bullshit solos. It's just playing a couple notes really, really fast in a weird fashion and, hoping it sounds cool. In reality, it doesn't.
But here's the thing, is their riffs are amazing.
They are. They're great rhythm guitar players, but neither of them are great lead guitar players.
Neither of them are great lead guitar players. Their drumming is where it stands out, at least when they had Dave Lombardo.
But
what do you think? Is that what you think stands out the most in Slayer?
Dave Lombardo does stand out the most. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go ahead and say this. I'm inebriated and have to piss really, really bad. And we've probably been doing this show about 45 minutes now. I'd say about now is a great time to cut it. I've been your host of the most, Mr. Graveyard J, here with
Little Demonculus, Little D-E something other.
This is episode 2 of After Hours. Wow!
Ladies, you cut me off. Listen here, man. Whoever played that saxophone, whoever played that motherfucking saxophone,